So, good morning. This is A Life Behind Cars. I'm Kim Wyndham Thomas, and this is going to be our first video. It differs from a lot of our videos because it's not going to be so much a tutorial on how to fix something. It's just going to be an immersive driving experience of my 996.1 911. Okay, so just sit back, enjoy the show. Now this car itself, I've only a couple of months now. I kind of always hoped to buy a 911 one day, and this car came up at a time when I was in a situation where I could purchase it as my daily driver, of all things. It's 19 years old. It's pretty old for a car to use as a daily driver, but it suits what I need quite well. I only work about 7 miles away from home, and so my commute's only 14 miles. As such, I can quite easily drive this as a daily driver, and it just fulfills my requirements quite easily. The car itself was basically entirely how it left the factory. It was a special order car. It wasn't just a standard issue. It has a paint colour that's not normally issued on this model of car. It has factory features which aren't usually ones which are on the options list. So it was built by the exclusive project team at Porsche. It's by far a perfect example. It was a good value, usable, classic Porsche. See, it overtakes pretty quick. I've got some course will dispatch in a few seconds. There's these sort of B roads that a car like this is really good at. been quite sure what you actually think of as a 911. I mean, is a 911 a supercar or is a 911 a sports car? I like to think of it as the cream of sports cars. I don't think you can really think of a normal 911 as a supercar, despite the fact that at the time of this car coming out, its performance figures were directly comparable with the Ferraris of the day. The Ferrari F355, which I've also driven, which is a beautiful handling car, is no faster than this car. The 0 to 60 times and the top speed are pretty much identical, and yet everybody thought of this as a sports car and that as a supercar. I think usability has a lot to do with it. If you use an F355 as a daily, and I have known people to do so, you'll find it breaks a lot. Not just a little bit, I mean, it'll break a lot. You'll spend a lot of time fixing it. I mean, I've put 1,500 miles on this car in the last 2 months. It's not a particularly large amount of miles to put on, but the car has acted completely faultlessly, which, bear in mind, it wasn't a perfect example, and the car itself wasn't a particularly expensive example. It was pretty much the cheapest dealer-bought 911 of this specification in the UK at the time. So this car was not an expensive car. It cost about the same as a second-hand Ford Fiesta, to be honest. A really fast Ford Fiesta. But I mean, you know, I could have got myself, I don't know, a 3-year-old sort of SD 220 or something like that, just driven around in a Ford. But driving around in a Porsche 911 it's just so much more enjoyable, to be honest. And you know, you've got to think that this is possibly, arguably, the greatest driver's car ever built. And I enjoy driving. And because I enjoy driving, I think that, you know, it was worth the risk. I do all my own maintenance, and I did something else really, really bad. And I wouldn't recommend to anybody. This car has no service history. I mean, absolutely none when I got it. I've since gone to Porsche. I've spoken to them. I've asked them to look up on their computer records against the VIN number, and they've managed to produce a small amount of service history for me from the dealer network. Their computers are now centralised, and you can get some information from them. And so now I do have a small amount of service history. I've also contacted dealers where I know this car has been. So this car's been to Fernsport in the home counties, which is one of the real top UK 911 specialists, but unfortunately they haven't got back to me about any information about it. It has their dealer sticker in it saying it's been into their workshops, but they haven't come back. But the cars have multiple registration plates, and this might be what's limiting my ability to obtain service history. A lot of specialists will not record the VIN number, they'll only record the registration. And even then, they might be worried, particularly in the times now we are of GDPR, of releasing any data that could be construed as containing information about what other people have spent on the car. Porsche were very helpful, but I haven't had any luck with the dealers so far. So I just kind of have to treat that as it is. I bought the car as a long-term car, and I have no intention of selling it anytime soon. But when I do come to sell it, it is going to be difficult because of that lack of service history. There's nothing wrong with the car, I've checked it out extensively. There's no actual real faults with the car, so it's a good, honest, usable car. But it's just, you know, it's just going to affect the resale value of it as well. It gets down the road very well. People say this engine doesn't have enough torque, but to be honest, you know, it's a good car. I also noticed I'm not running exactly a particularly standard head unit. This car originally had the, like all of this model, had just the basic CDC 22 unit there, and then above it had the climate control I modified the dashboard to take a double DIN conversion, and then I moved the timing controls down below, refitted the cubby hole, new cubby hole, but with the original rubbers. It looks stock, it's a nice fitment, and then I've got the double DIN head unit, which is an Android unit. It's currently linked up to an ODB2 ELM327 interface via Bluetooth, so it can get information from the ECU. So we've got information here from the ECU directly, so we can see throttle positions 8%. We've got the revs, we've got the speed, we've got the cooling, etc. And then here we have performance gauges, so we can do 0 to 100 miles per hour, eighth, quarter, 0 to 60, etc. As you can see, it's a beautiful day down in South Devon, and we can just poople along, you know, here's 70 miles per hour, the car's virtually silent. There's a little bit of wind noise coming from this door. I imagine the door seal's slightly pressed in. It's probably not as good as it once was. Ultimately, this is still a very quiet, defined car on the motorway, or dual carriageway. You can travel long distances in this with reasonable comfort. I do find the hardback sport seats fitted for this model slightly uncomfortable. I'm very tall, very broad-shouldered, and these wings I do find they're not in quite the right place for my shoulder blades, being so broad-shouldered. I'm nearly 3 foot wide across the shoulder. I do find it difficult to get through some doorways. I'm that broad-shouldered, and so I do find these seats a bit of a pain, to be honest, but still I don't think I'd have a problem covering very long distances in this. And in fact, I'm just about to go on a nice drive off to see Nick Mason, actually, a car enthusiast, next week, and when I do this, it'll be a nice little outing for the car. It'll be my first long drive since I got it. To be honest, most of my driving so far has just been like basic commuting. I've not really driven this car how it really should have been yet. I tend to drive in high levels of traffic, just and dual carriageways, the other bits and pieces. It's not really had an opportunity to open up its legs, so to speak. It pulls very smoothly, this car, as you can hear. Just really kind of smooth, really nice to drive. No real sort of engine management problems at all. Just literally just beautifully smooth. And as I said, surprisingly torquey. Yeah, beautiful car, beautiful road, beautiful part of the country. I would say come down and visit us, but actually, to be honest, I'd rather you all stay away and just leave it to the locals. I think most people in Devon feel the same way. Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed the video, and catch up with some of our new videos that are coming out. I'm going to be doing a bit of work on this car. I'm going to be showing you my other cars. I have quite a number of cars at the moment, and they're all quite good. So yes, come back, and you know, if you like this video, click subscribe. There's going to be lots more videos. They're not going to be like daily or anything, you know, but maybe a couple of videos a month will come out, and hopefully you'll enjoy them. Okay, thanks, and see you soon.